So before the project, I've never actually considered the whole bunch of problems that a migrant may have when these people enter to another country. But thanks to this project, we learned about a lot of problems that migrants face, such as discrimination, financial problems. Then we have some documental problems, linguistic problems, and so on.
I think the most difficult part for me during this project was like the role-playing game when I was old grandfather, a migrant from different country, and I was told to cross the road, and it was really difficult to stand in the same shoes as usually migrants do.
For me, were to be it's the first place to be away from my country, from my city, and the second one was maybe the topic of our project, because I have never thought about migration or refugees before.
At first, I would like to say that this is my first international experience. Before this project, I had little information about Ukraine and Bulgaria, and I have never met Bulgarians and Ukrainians. And after this project, I love the country, that both countries. I knew about Ukraine and the Bulgaria, and I also would like to say that the thing that I love the most was the information that Bulgarians say no like this and say yes like this.
Okay, firstly I like to mention that the whole project itself was very interesting and full of education. But I would like to just separate two different things for me personally. First was like when we're trying to count on different languages while we were disparring in the different teams. And secondly, it was the moment when we were combining the words, the very hard words about migration, with their meanings.
For me, the most useful session was the session about terms of migration, because when we just spoke about migration, we understood only like a people movement from one place to another place. But after this session, now we can distinguish all types of terms migration, and now I can understand the fully concept of migration.
I cannot say that it is entirely different from what I was thinking before, but it once again reminded me that these kind of questions are really, let's say, so complicated, and there are so many aspects that you need to take in mind.
When you are from a country and you have your own language and your own way of thinking stuff, your own culture, then when you go abroad, you're like, oh, this is really different. Maybe you look colder on an outside perspective. But then I think when you overcome the language barrier and you just have a simple discussion with people, you understand that, I mean, being from another country really doesn't mean anything.
The most interesting thing is that Georgians was super strict with their immigrants, and they built all buildings just for 1 month for all IDPs whatever, and all IDPs was covered by government with new property, with new buildings that they can live and do their life from the very beginning one time more.
Okay, thank you.
The most interesting thing I learned since the beginning of this project is different types of immigration, like the activities we had during workshops. Like, they were really interesting and really creative. So thanks to these activities, I learned a lot of things about immigration, types of immigration, terms and courses of immigration. So for me, the most interesting thing during this project was the workshop we had.
The most interesting thing, we are all speaking about something we don't know. Nobody knows exactly what is a migrant. And if we ask some people, are you migrant? They say, no, I'm not a migrant. I'm coming from this part, or I will go to this other. That's my job, that's my family. I'm not a migrant. So it's a problem of language. And it's really interesting to see that today we speak about migrants, but some generation before. They don't speak about migrants. They say, oh, Arabs, niggers. Now we are saying, for instance, in France, we are telling about sub-Saharan people. Well, not color, sub-Saharan people or North America people. So language is completely changing, and it's a good thing. You know, in United States, they don't speak anymore from nigger, but from Afro-American, African-American. And in our country, they put African, and they are proud to be African in their origin. So we have to change our way of thinking about migrations questions, and we are all migrants. Because we are coming in Georgia in order to see camp? No, Georgians are migrants too. You come to France, French people is migrant too. We used to migrate to Great Britain and to United States and to Brazil and so on. So it's interesting because it's a language question.
Describe the project with one word.
Knowledge.
Enriching.
Diversity.
Amazing!
On the move!